How are you guys feeling today?
Good.
Tired, good. A little rainy. But all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. Energy is in everything. Everything's composed of energy. It's in the universe. It's in the stars. It's in the planets. It's in the sun. It's in the moon. It's in us. It's in inanimate objects even. So if you were to study energy from an inanimate object, it can be measured just like it can be measured from us as physical beings. So we talk about energy a lot in yoga because yoga relies on the yoga. When we're moving the body, we're clearing the energy in the body. When we're breathing properly, we're helping to purify the energy in the body. Same thing when we focus and meditate in the mind. Thoughts are also energy. Energy is vibration. And this vibration or frequency can be high or low, right? It can be dense, it can be light. So that is the premise for where I'm going today, because I'm going to share with you a story of a haunted guitar. Okay, so I almost played you a blues song to start off this practice, and I decided not to because of the story or legend behind it, and I didn't want it to be played in such a pure space as this. So I'll go ahead and share. So last week we had an incident in our home. Now I live and cohabitate and coexist with someone who's not like me, who doesn't believe in the spiritual world like I do. And he accepts my woo-woo, even though he doesn't align with it, okay? So if you don't align with this story, that's okay, just look at it as story time. Danny loves my stories anyway, so hopefully you do too. So last week, in our home, basically, Rob was downstairs and he was at his console table and he was listening to all the music that he's created this past year. And so his head was in his hands and he was just really concentrating. I know this because I had gone downstairs to empty the trash or I don't know, do something. And I saw how focused he was that I left. I didn't even stay in the room. And I had been upstairs, I don't know, half an hour or more. And he comes upstairs and he opens the door and looks at me at the kitchen table and he has this quirky grin on his face. And he was like, okay, I'm going to tell you what's been happening in the basement, but I don't want to hear any of your woo stuff. I said, okay. And so I was like, what's going on? He goes, well, the last couple of weeks, it's been weird. Now, this guy is a stickler for when he leaves the room, he turns the lights off. You know, I mean, he's just a stickler about those sorts of things. Certain doors need to be open, certain doors remain closed. And he governs the basement because that's the studio, right? So he comes upstairs and he's like, there has been some unusual things happening in the basement. You know, I was in the basement, I come upstairs, I know no one had been downstairs, and I go back down and the bathroom lights on and doors closed, but nobody's in there. He's like, did you go down there? I'm like, no, I wouldn't have done that. And anyway. And there's been some other instances like that. And he goes, I was just sitting at my console table and he said, and I said, I know, came down there like half an hour, I left you alone, came back upstairs. And he said, well, this just happened a couple of minutes ago. I'm sitting there concentrating and I feel this rub. It felt like a finger rubbing on my low back. And I was like, oh, that's not good, you know? And he was like, well, I thought it was you. And I turned around and nobody was there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my sage. Yeah. We didn't have to talk about it, but I got my sage, started burning my sage. I went all through the house, doing the Reiki symbols, talking to whatever negative source I thought this was, like, okay, you need to exit out of our home, go into the light, there's peace there, you need to return to love, you were in the in-between world, you need to go back to source. Like, I'm doing all the things, just focusing, Reiki, saging. And I was like, okay, feel better. Well, then the next day, he told me that he had had a session the night before with a guy who, him and his wife through the pandemic had started to become ghost hunters. And so they had bought some of that. I don't watch these shows, but they had bought some of this equipment, evidently, that's supposed to detect things. And so he thought, I never see this guy. Isn't it ironic? He's here today when this is happening in my home. So he decides to open up to this guy and be like, hey, are you and your wife still doing that thing? What did you discover? And he says, well, we definitely believe in it. And we've been to some haunted places, but not so sure about the equipment, and what it was picking up. And we quit doing it. Well, he shares the story and he went back and told his wife. Well, the next day, the guy contacted him and said, okay, I talked to my wife, and she said, you need to be worried if it physically touched you, then it's gotten more powerful, it's gone to the next level, and it's after you, it wants you somehow, And I was like, okay, I need to check with Allison, because Allison, my friend, she's psychic, she's a Reiki master, she's a medium, like she can detect all this stuff. And so I call her up and I'm like, okay, this is what happened. And she was like, ooh, it touched his root chakra. It's after Rob. It's not after anybody else in the house. It's after him. It specifically pointed him out. It touched him. It wants him. And I'm like, oh, Lord, And she was like, you need to do some more because I don't think it fully cleared. I was like, okay. So I knew I was going to have to Reiki myself and Reiki Rob. And, Anyway, he gets home that day and he had been thinking about it, And he said, because I was thinking maybe it was someone that came into the house and had played some music downstairs and then left this hitchhiker behind somehow. And anyway, he was like, the only thing I can think of is, that's new in this house that's been brought in is this vintage 1957 guitar. And he had just gotten it like a month ago. And I'm thinking, it could be, but here's why I'm thinking that. So we had feng shui workshops when I used to own Half Moon, and I had 2 different feng shui consultants that would come in that we would work with. And I remember one in particular saying through the workshop, be careful with the items you bring into your house if they haven't belonged to you, if like antiques, they've been around for a while. And here I was living in a house full of antiques at the time. I've gotten rid of most of them since then. But she was like, not saying that antiques are bad, but she said, you don't know where it comes from. You don't know what energy it's storing. You don't know the family that it was living around. You don't know the activities and the conversations that were being had around it. You don't know what energy it's holding. And it impacted me so much and made so much sense to me that I slowly started getting rid of my antiques that I had. It's like, I don't want it. So anyway, I'm thinking, this is an antique guitar, it's vintage, right? We don't know who it belonged to. We don't know who played it. And it looks haunted, you guys. It's like the finish is faded on it, Anyway, so when he said that, I'm like, okay, that's a possibility. And how insightful of you to think this. I was like, how did you think of this? Well, he's into the blues. And you might have heard of the legendary story of Robert Johnson going to the crossroads and selling his soul to the devil because he really wanted to play this guitar. Well, I've heard that legend before. I saw the movie Crossroads back in the day, and I was like, okay, it didn't belong to Robert Johnson. I know it had nothing to do with him because that man lived and died at 27 years old in the 1930s. This was a 1957 guitar. But I thought, how insightful of him to even think of this. So I cross-checked it with Allison. She was like, you need a sage and Reiki that guitar since, you're with it. So he comes home that evening, I'm like, give me that guitar. So I set the guitar up, I'm staging the guitar, and I'm Reikiing the guitar, and I've Reikied objects before. And you can do that. You can Reiki contracts, you can Reiki cards, you can Reiki things. But I've never felt as much energy vibrating from an object as I did that guitar. And I was trying to work on it, and he's sitting in the room with me, and honestly, he was distracting me a little bit. I'm like, you need to just go upstairs, like, let me do this thing. And so I kept Reikiing it, and I got this vision, because when I do Reiki, I get impressions, and they can be positive, they can be negative. I mean, they can be different things. But the image I got, or the feeling, the first thing I got was a feeling. I got a feeling and a message that it was steeped in pain, suffering, and addiction. So whoever owned this guitar before was an addict and had a lot of pain that they were just pouring into the guitar. So I could sense that, and then I got this visual of all this black smoke coming up out of the guitar, and then this kind of like weird demonic face appeared. which kind of freaked me out. But I was like, okay, I'm not scared of you. And you need to go. You don't belong here. And I did all the things talking to it. And then I was just trying to think that, okay, if this thing's attached to this guitar, I was trying to think of musicians that have died and hopefully crossed over. Because I'm like, don't you want to go play with, you know? And I started like just naming off all these famous musicians. I'm like, if you just cross over, you can have this incredible jam session with all these famous musicians that have passed over, you know? And I felt like something cleared, but I wasn't sure if the whole thing cleared. But I was exhausted. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Went upstairs to play cards. Sorry, this is a long story. I promise we're gonna get to the other. And we went to play cards with the kids, and we're playing cards. And one of them said something, and I just reacted. And this is not my character. I threw my cards on the table. I was like, I'm done with this game. And literally all three of them look at me like, and Rob's face, his jaw just dropped like, and people's like, Mom, you know? And I'm like, I'm done. Basically, I was feeling this negativity pull up inside of me. And I knew as an inner witness, I was witnessing this, but I couldn't control it. And I was just in a bad mood, and we ended the card game. The kids went up to bed, and I'm just pacing the floor. And I'm like, I need to clear myself because I touched this thing. And I went into my yoga room and I started saying prayer, and I called in the Christ energy. I called in the angels, and I was doing some mantras, and I got in a really sweet space. I transmuted all the energy, and I felt really good after that meditation. So to make a long story short, I don't know if this guitar is cleared or not, but it's in my house right now. And Rob and I could continue to have these conversations, and he's like, you know, I don't, but even though it happened to me, I don't believe in any of this. And he was like, you know what? It doesn't, you know, it really doesn't matter. I am fortified in who I am. I am strong in who I am. This thing can't touch me. This thing is not going to influence me. So anyway, that's where we are with that. But everything is energy. So even after I felt that negative burst, I was able to transmute it through that meditation. So I want you to see this practice and every practice as a way to shift, transmute, and transform the energy. No matter what you've picked up on, no matter what has attached to you, no matter what life is pushing onto you or pressing onto you, let's try to release it through today's practice, okay? To purify ourselves. That's what this intention is all about. So let's come down to the floor. And we're going to start on our back. Have your strap in hand 3. I'll get some music going. How's the temp in here? Is it too warm? No. Good? Okay. Haven't been moving yet, so it's cool. So go ahead and lie down on your back. And discover whether or not you need the legs to be extended and the feet separated away, or the knees bent and leaning together. See what feels more comfortable in the now, and close your eyes, resting your hands on your stomach. Take some deep breaths, feeling the abdomen swell on the inhale, and softly deflate on the exhale. And as you're opening up control over your breath, I want you to look, listen, and feel inside your body. To notice what you're bringing to the mat with you today. And then notice What's inhabiting your mind? What's showing up in your heart? And then set the intention to purify your mind, your body, your whole energetic field through this practice today. Intend for the energy that you're pulling in to be of the highest vibration, aligned with light and love. And also set the intention to release any low vibrational energy away. Let's go ahead and inhale, bend the knees. And once you bend the knees and flatten the feet to the floor, bring your hands beside you. And as you inhale, press down through the soles of the feet, tuck the tailbone and lift, circling the arms overhead to Setu Bandhasana. And as you exhale, gently roll down, bringing the arms back alongside you. We're going to do this a few more times. Inhale, pressing into the feet, igniting your hamstrings and buttocks to lift. And then exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Let's do this 3 more times in sync with our breath. And last one. Hold at the top though. Push down a little harder through the mound of the big toes. Notice how it narrows the knees. And then exhale, slowly lower down one vertebra at a time, landing the palms. And then picking up the feet, picking up the hands into Apanasana, wind release pose. So you're basically just hugging your knees into your belly and chest. Lengthening the low back. Embracing yourself, practicing with Mayatri, radical self-acceptance. And then go ahead and extend your left leg only down the length of your mat. And then let's take a hold of the strap. The strap is going to wrap around the ball of the right foot as you send it towards the ceiling. Put a little extra dorsiflexion in the ankle. Push out through the left foot as well. Holding the supine variation of Padangusthasana A. Now remember, we're trying to get the right leg as straight as possible. So it's okay if you need to lean the leg forward towards the front side of the room in order to achieve that. It's also okay to have the leg above you if the knee is bent, as long as you are pushing the foot up into the fabric of the strap. Now take both ends of the strap into your right hand and slowly allow that leg to rock off to the right side of the body. Now keep stretching out through the left leg, pushing down through your left thigh bone, because the action in the leg resting on the floor can help to stabilize your pelvis. This variation of Padangusthasana B, abducting the leg away from the body, is really working with the inner thighs, as well as the open hip. Now inhale, bring that leg back up, swap hands to hold it, and just teeter it slightly over your midline. Isolate the IT band. Keep your low back flat to the floor. Reach your right arm out to your right side. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, continue to roll and come into the spinal twist.
So that right foot's hovering above the floor. And your head can be centered or it may turn one direction or the other. Create that bellowing effect in your belly again as you breathe. Affirming here, I'm opening myself up to a new flow of energy within. Inhale, lift that leg back up. As you exhale, swap hands to hold the ends of the strap. Peel the back side of your head off the floor. Reach your left arm over the left leg. Variation of Padangusthasana C. And gently lower it back down. Bend the knee, remove that strap. We'll take it to the other side. Extend your right leg, draw your left knee in, wrapping the strap around the ball of the foot. Extend it. Flex the ankles. Remembering as you're working through the lower body how this correlates back to our foundation, our roots, sense of security, even survival skills. So the legs help to propel us forward into action, and they also help us to retreat. All right, let's take both ends of the strap into the left hand. Lower it off to the left side. Keep the navel facing the sky and extend long through the right leg. Pound down through the right thigh, even though it may not necessarily touch the floor. Open up the channel of your breath. Inhale, lift the leg back up. Swap hands to hold the strap, send it across your midline. So we're going to be building up today to the Music City hip openers. We'll be doing that a little later on. All right, let's reach the left arm out to the left side. Let's roll into that twist. I don't think I finished telling you the story. I'll finish telling you the story. So when I cross-checked it with Allison, she read into the guitar and she said it belonged to a young man who really got into the blues, rock and roll, and he basically, you know, kind of made this soul contract that he wanted to be some, you know, famous musician similar to Hendrix. We don't know who the guitar belonged to. We don't know if it changed hands several times over the years. But it wasn't the entity necessarily attached to it. It was the contract that it held, and it was holding a vortex of energy. Inhale, let's lift that leg back up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, let's bend. We got to come up. Padangusthasana C, sorry about that. Lift the head up, reach the right arm out over the right leg. Now this operates from contracting the core. It's okay if you want to float and hover your right foot. Sometimes we do that. And then exhale, gently release, bending the knee and removing the strap. All right, let's have both knees back in towards the belly and chest. Let's separate the knees wide open. Let's bring the feet up and take happy baby pose. So in happy baby pose, you can hold your shins if you can't find the feet. Some people like to hold the arch of the foot. Some people like to grab the big toe with the peace mudra. Some people prefer grabbing the outside of the feet and pulling lightly down. The knee stays swayed. Then the low back anchors to the floor. Notice if one or the other hip is holding or resistant to this pose. This is good information to know, especially if you're interested in chakra work. One more deep breath. And then exhale, release the feet, bring them back down to the mat. Turn over to your right side and then gently build yourself up to a comfortable seat. Once you're in a comfortable seat, feel free to sit in any way that works for your legs. I'm going to sit cross-legged. Your fingertips are going to descend down to either side of the body, and your right arm is going to extend up. Your left hand can slide over as you curve to that side of the room. Opening up the side body helps to in turn open up our breath. Within the breath, we're not just breathing in oxygen, but energy. All right, inhale, let's slowly bring it up. Exhale, lower the hand down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, slide your right hand across. Breathing slowly and deeply in and out through the nose. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, lower the hand down. All right, I want you to have your two blocks set up at the front of the mat. And we're going to come up to stand. And when you come to stand at the top of the mat, look down at your feet so one is not leading ahead of the other. Spread the toes and really get connected to the feel of that texture beneath your body. Draw your hands to prayer position at your heart. When you plug the feet down, think about a three-pronged plug. Think about that being at the ball of the foot, the pinky toe side of the foot, and the heel of the foot. Really plug it down and feel the action that comes about with your muscles through the lower body. And on your inhale, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. Maintain that plugging down action with the feet, the work through the legs, and feel the lift in your side body, the lift through the floating ribs, navel, heart, fingertips, and crown. And as you exhale, slow dive in, Uttanasana. It's okay if you want to softly bend the knees, as long as you're still picking up your seat. Let your head bow. Let your shoulders relax away from the back. Your arms are welcome to hang like a rag doll. And I want you to hear this affirmation. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Not even negative energy. That was Rob's attitude. Inhale, come halfway up. Lengthen through the vertebrae. Look out with your eyes. And then exhale, drop back down. All right, we're going to take the blocks, set them up beside the feet so that we can step the left foot way back. And those of you that coming in with knee stuff, sometimes the chair in front of you can bring you to higher ground where there's not much weight in the knee or pressure in the knee. And bring that chair onto the sticky mat so it won't slide away from you. Front knee is going to align over that ankle, shin perpendicular to the floor. All right, now press down through the right foot, and we're going to slowly straighten out the right leg. And when you straighten out the right leg, I want you to bring your attention to the left hip and roll that left hip slightly more towards the front side of your mat so that your right leg fires up more around the whole circumference, maybe feeling a little bit more on the outside of the leg. All right, exhale, pour over. So softening the elbows and bowing if you can. Inhale, lift your head, extend the spine, open the heart, and then exhale, lunge the knee. You're still looking out the room. All right, we're gonna be doing this slow and methodical like that. Inhale, push through the right foot, straighten out through the right leg. Make sure the hips stay square. Exhale, fold. Affirming here, I give myself over to the flow of grace. Inhale, lift your head and heart. Exhale, lunge the right knee. Nice and slow and methodical. Inhale, press the right foot, straighten the right leg. Exhale, fold. Surrendering down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lunge that knee. Good. Once you lunge that knee, step the back foot forward and immediately step your right foot back. All right. At first, the knees lunging, shin perpendicular to the floor, the knees facing the second and third smaller toes, back thigh is plucking up towards the ceiling, and then push down through the left foot, straighten out through the left leg. Don't bow yet. Roll that right hip a little bit more towards that foot out in front. It always takes a little bit there. And then exhale, lunge the knee. And then we'll start that regular flow. Inhale, straighten the leg. Keep the hips square. Exhale, now bow over the front leg. Inhale, lifts the head and the heart. Exhale, lunge the knee. Good. Inhale, press the front foot, straighten out the leg. Exhale, bow over, affirming. I give myself over to the flow of grace. Inhale, head and heart lifts. Exhale, keep the head up. Look out with your eyes as you lunge the knee. We're just doing one more. Inhale, fully straighten. Exhale, humbly bow. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, re-lunge the knee. Good. From here, let's step the back foot forward and fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, pressurize the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. Once you reach your arms up, you're going to circle the arms behind the back, keeping your legs and belly ignited and crossing the right arm underneath the left. So once that right arm's crossed underneath the left, feel your heart pick up, your shoulders roll back. And then inhale, release the arms, sail them back up overhead. We're going to crisscross the opposite way. Exhale, fan the arms out. Right arm first, then the left finds below. Lift the chest, lift the head. Anytime we open the shoulders, we're in essence opening up the heart. And then inhale, release the hands, reach them back up towards the heavens. Exhale, swan dive back down into your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Inhale, step the right foot back, but we're not lunging into that front knee exactly. We're planting the back foot, straightening the left leg and coming up to stand. Okay. Open out your arms, shoulder height. We're going to work towards triangle pose. Lengthen out over the left leg. Exhale, windmill down. And if you have the block there, you're welcome to use it. If it's too low or too high, you can use your own body. Sail the right arm up, fan the fingers nice and wide. Keep rooting the feet, lifting through the kneecaps. All right, exhale, bring that right hand down. And then inhale, fan it right back up. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Lower the right arm, elevate the left. Gazing up. Exhale, lunge that left knee slightly. Bring the hands to cartwheel down to the blocks and step up to the front of the mat. Immediately step back with your left foot. We're not doing a deep lunge. We're planting the back foot, lifting the hands up to prepare for triangle. Good. Flip the arms up shoulder height. Lengthen out over the front leg. Exhale, windmill down to your triangle pose. Stacking the shoulders and stacking the right arm over the right leg. Freeing up your breath. And then exhale, lower the left hand down. Inhale, fan it right back up. And exhale, be here. Inhale, draw all the way up to stand, lowering the left arm, lifting the right hand. Continue to breathe. And on your next exhalation, you're bringing the hands down as you lunge the right knee, stepping the back foot forward, and folding back into self. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right. I'm thinking for Marianne and Trish, maybe you guys could do the modified Padangusthasana. You can even use a chair for this. So if you wanted to use the chair for this, you could try to, just lift the foot up here, or turn to the side for Padangusthasana B. I love this version of the pose. If you want to do that, just have it on the sticky mat so it doesn't slide. For anybody who wants to do it solo and you don't want to straighten the legs and you just want to try balancing on your own, maybe modify holding the knee, staying on your mat. But those that want to straighten the leg to continue to build up for these Music City hip openers, I want you to find a wall, okay? And this is what we're going to do. I'll show you really quick. We're going to basically be bouncing a foot up the wall to do Padangusthasana A. Then we bend the knee. You can hold the wall to pivot that foot to come into Padangusthasana B. And then we turn back to face the wall. And we lift the heel and are just on the tippy toe for Padangusthasana D. You guys just do A and B, okay? And if you're gonna freestyle, D just like this. Okay, so whoever wants to use the wall, come on up. I'm gonna use the wall too. I'll move these props. All right, let's stand on the left leg and prop the right foot up to the wall. And don't worry about how high it is. Just do what's comfortable, what feels good. And then see if it's possible to lift the arms overhead. You're lotioned up. Were you lotion? Yeah, if you put lotion on the soles of your feet, you may have difficulty. So if you want to do it modified, sure, you can do that. Yeah. Okay, now we need to go to B. So we're gonna bend the knee at the wall. Take your right hand to the wall to help you balance, and you turn and pivot the standing foot 90 degrees. And then we eventually straighten out the right leg. And the arms can be up or hands to this. You can do it solo and just hold the knee, really. And then we're going to turn back, bend the knee, turn the foot so you're facing the wall. Hands to hips, spine erect. And all you have to do here for Padangusthasana D is lift your heel in the arch and you're on the tippy toes. And then release. All right. And we'll take it to the other side. So now bring the left foot up or hold your left knee if you want to modify. Arms up to free up the spine. And we'll slowly transition to B. So bend that knee, your left hand can go to the wall to help you to turn the right foot. Re-straighten the left leg.
Hands to hips or arms above. Good. Then take your time, bending the knee, turning back to face the wall. Lifting the heel, arch of the foot, Padangusthasana deep. And release. Sometimes it's fun to bounce off the wall like that. All right, come back to the mat. How'd it work out with the chair? Great, good, awesome. All right, let's break the feet again. We won't need the blocks because we're going to be bringing it back down to the floor. Hands to the heart, prayer position. Inhale, the arms circle up. Exhale, fold. In and halfway up. Out and lower in. Inhale, take plank. Stepping back, hands shoulder distance apart. Rock it forward, lower down to chaturanga and all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes and lengthen your leg bones back. Shoulders loop back and you're lifting into cobra, Bhujangasana. Breathe. Let your inhale lift you slightly. Let your exhale descend you slightly. Exhale, lower more towards your chest. Curl the toes under, either lift up to table or you can lift to plank. Sailing back to downward facing dog. When you lift and elevate your hips up and invert yourself in down dog, let your head bow between the arms. Gaze at that space in between the feet. Inhale, lift the right leg halfway up. But keep your hips square and even. Try to limit your shoulders from tilting. And then exhale, lower the right foot down. Inhale, lift your left leg, Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hips square, shoulders level, breath full. And now descend the foot. And we're going to cautiously come down to the floor. You guys be careful coming down to your knees. And then onto your seats. All right. Music City hip openers are here. We're going to bend the knees at first. And we're going to, well, you guys make this work. Okay. Got it. Because I'm instructing them to kind of take half Gomukhasana, but I don't know if your knee wants to function that way. Now, if you're more limited in your muscle flexibility, you're going to be using a strap and it's going to look more like this when we get there, okay? But you might surprise yourself because we've been warming up and we've been really opening up this area. Maybe try lacing your hands around the sole of the foot and lifting it up into Crouchasana heron pose, named after the bird. So if that's too much, this is where the strap comes in, because the strap is an extension of the arms. Okay. So it's okay. There's variety in the world. There should be variety here amongst us. All right, so from this Crouchasana, I guess I'm not mirroring you this way, but that's okay. Notice if you're starting to round your back. If so, make sure your spine's extended and your head's lifting above and away from your shoulders. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and bring both ends of the strap into the right hand or hold the foot with the right hand and you're going to open it to the right side. You just stay on the left if you want to stay on the left. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if your left is your right now. But this is where it comes to Music City hip openers. It's like you're playing your guitar or banjo. Okay. I didn't coin that phrase. That was Cora Wren. And then inhale, draw the leg through center. Hold the strap with your left hand or hold the foot with your left hand or right if you're reversed. Okay.
pull up through your chest, send your free hand in front, and then you're gonna spin into a twist. Good, as you start to exhale, unwind, here's your other instrument. It's on the inside and the outside. And then release. Now, we'll bend both knees, we'll slip the right foot under. And then test the water, each side's different. So you may need a strap on one side, but you didn't the other. So test the waters. And then if you're starting to round and collapse to the upper body, reinvest in the lengthening of your back, the openness of the heart, the space between your ears and shoulders. And even though we're holding this way, if you're more flexible, you can always kind of drive it closer in towards the face. All right. Both ends of the strap into your left hand, or hold that left foot and then open it to the side. So we've now done it from a supine position, a standing position, and now a seating position. Notice which is more challenging for you. It may be this sequence. Bring it back through, swap hands to hold the foot or strap, send it across, lengthen your free arm out, and then twist to that side. Exhale, unwind, and release. All right, that was the sequence we were kind of building up for today, but I want to use the strap again. I want to take the strap over the left shoulder. And once you take it over the left shoulder, fly your left arm up and turn your palms to face the wall behind you. That way, when you bend your arm, you can grab the strap. Take your free hand and tuck the elbow in closer, and then sweep it behind the back. Find the other end of the strap and walk or slide it up. And then extend long through the spine. Close your eyes. Affirming here. Free in my heart. I choose to live without any fear. Free in my heart, I choose to live without any fear. And exhale, slip that hand down, and then release that strap from the shoulder. And now the other side. But if you're sitting cross-legged, one side of the hip is getting a little bit more work, so swap that positioning, and then take the strap over the right shoulder. Let it hang down the back. Reach the right arm up, turn that palm, find it. Use your free hand to tuck the elbow closer to the side of the head, and then free it up to sweep behind the back. Walking it up the strap. And sometimes we get in all kinds of contorted positions, or we collapse on one side or the other. So just try to stay lifted in your heart. Close the eyes. Thinking about that state, free in my heart, I choose to live without fear. Exhale, release the strap. And I'm going to come on down to our backs. And when you come down to your back, draw the knees in long enough to splay the arms open And roll the knees over to the left. And I encourage you to go slow with that movement, because sometimes when you slow down these supine twists, you can get some pops and cracks in your back, releasing some of that air that's been held there. Free up your breath to free up your mind, body, and heart. Inhale, draw knees in. Exhale, roll right. Most importantly, breathe. I want you to go ahead and unroll from that twist. Prepare for Shavasana. So preparing for Shavasana may mean gathering some thoughts, making something more restorative, adding in support. So I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to the 4 directions or have ever done a medicine wheel or done any shamanic work, but each direction has its own special elements and quality about it. And the song that's playing right now is about the west winds. And the west is about the element of water and the element of healing. And recognize the fact that we are made up of about 70% water. So when you close your eyes, and you start to engage with your breath, pay attention to the undulation, to the wave of the breath as it rolls up and down between the belly and chest. Think of the wave of the breath being like an actual wave of water, pure crystalline water. Each and every time you breathe out, visualize that it's removing any and all stress, any and all tension, any and all fatigue or toxins away.
You've been relaxing and restoring your mind and body. Begin to re-enliven your breath because we're going to do a little mantra meditation to complete our practice today. As you're increasing your breath, the one we're going to use today is something that a lot of you already know. It's Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad, Ekankar. This mantra is said to be the magic mantra, an alchemaic mantra that allows negative thought forms to transmute toward positive thought forms. It translates to mean there is one creator of all creation. All is the glory of the Creator. May we receive grace. Go ahead and begin to exit the pose that you chose. And when you come up to take a seat, maybe take your bolster if you want something softer, or a block if you want something firmer to sit on. This mantra is played a lot in more kundalini type yoga settings, but I love it. We're going to listen to it. If you know the words, sing it, recite it with her. This is Jay Jagadesh. Everyone's a break in the mantra. You're going to take a deep breath. Ekankar, Satguru Prasad.
Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. Ekankar, 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 Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. Ekankar.
Feel free to just listen and absorb, or take a breath in the break.
Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. Ekankar, 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 Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. Ekankar.
Deep breath.
Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. Ekankar, 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 Ekankar, Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad.
just this last fourth round, 4 representing the seasons, the directions, the archangels.
Onkar Satguru Prasad, Satguru Prasad. 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 Onkar.
Beautiful. Bring the palms together with prayer. We'll continue to play in the backdrop. Let's complete our practice. And sending these intentions that we had on the mat, and taking any lessons we've learned off the mat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thanks guys for joining today.